Hi guys, thanks for jumping on and joining me for a bit of an introduction to the podcast. So just wanted to take the chance really to introduce myself, introduce the podcast and give you a bit of an idea about what to expect and what's coming. So I'm Lindsay. I have had this idea of developing the real podcaster of Alistry. So just to give you a bit of background about where the idea came from. So it's a couple of things really. So I absolutely love podcasts, listen to them quite a lot. Actually, probably prefer listening to podcasts than watching the TV, but just really, really enjoy podcasts. One of my favourite things to do to kind of like relax and unwind. And actually get inspired as well by some of the podcasts I listen to, and that's one of the things that kind of sparked me off from doing this. So love podcasts. Also really enjoy kind of thinking about community, thinking about what a great community we live in, and how can you sort of contribute to the community and give back to the community. And again, that's another thing that kind of sparked this idea. And then the other thing really is I just love talking, love chatting to people, love finding out about people, interesting things, what people are up to, what they're doing, what great things we've got going on locally. And just kind of adding those three things together, I kind of came up with this idea of, okay, there might be something in this then. Let's try starting a podcast. So that's sort of where the idea was born. And it sort of started off as a little seed a little while ago, and it's just kind of grown and grown until I found the concept and came up with the idea. And then the name, The Real Podcaster of Alistry, was a bit of a combination of the number one, The Real Housewives. So I love watching all the Real Housewives of Cheshire, Atlanta, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and I just thought I'd kind of use that name and play on instead of the Real Housewives of Alistry, the Real Podcast of Alistry. So that's where I got the idea for the name from, although I do think it would be quite a good idea to do the Real Housewives of Alistry. That might be quite fun. Watch this space. And also, before I decided that I was going to film the podcast, originally I was just going to do voice podcasts, and I thought it might be quite fun to sort of play on the not knowing who the real podcaster of Alistry was, a bit like Bridgerton, where there's that like secret writer. I thought that might be quite good to keep it a bit sort of mysterious as such, but then I decided to film the podcast, so that has all gone out the window because it's me, you can see me. So that's sort of where the idea was born and how I came up with the name, The Real Podcaster of Alistry. And then in terms of the concept, so Alistry and the surrounding areas, Darley Abbey, Quorndon, Little Eaton, Micklover, Breadstock, we've got some amazing stuff going on in this local area. Great community, lots of amazing people offering brilliant services, whether that be bars, restaurants, coffee houses, people setting up businesses in their own home. We've got salons, we've got cake makers, amazing dog walkers. We've got so much stuff going on in our local area. It is really quite amazing. And I thought, how good would it be to sort of find out a little bit more about what we've got going on and what services that we've got, what people provide in this local community, in this local area, find out more about what they do in their businesses or whatever it might be, but also, is equally as important, find out a little bit about the person behind what it is that they do. So who runs that business, who's setting up that event, who's doing that charity thing. So finding out a little bit more about the people behind the businesses and the services that we all use and enjoy and have around this local area. So kind of like shining a light really on all the amazing things that we've got going on around here, because we are lucky. So what the podcast is going to look like then. So it's going to be every fortnight. I'm hoping to get a new podcast out every fortnight. And every new episode is going to have someone different on. So it's not ever going to be just me. You'll be pleased to know. It's going to be, I'm going to have a sort of special guest on every podcast, every different episode, and just chatting to them, informal sort of interview style, finding out a little bit about what what they do, what service they provide, and a bit about who they are and all the exciting things that they've got going on. So each episode will be someone different joining me at Pod HQ in my snug in my house, and telling us about the amazing things that they're doing. So hopefully once a fortnight. Not sure on the length of the podcast yet. Depends how interesting it is and how much we've got to chat about, but sort of probably around 30, 45 minutes. And I'll always let you guys know on Instagram when there's a new pod coming out, and I'll upload the link, and it'll be via the YouTube platform. So if there are any people out there that want to jump on the pod, anything that you've got coming up, whether that be in your existing business, whether that be a special event, whether that be doing something for charity, or if you know of anyone that would benefit from coming on the pod, then just please get in touch. I would absolutely love to hear from you. I've already had lots of yeses, so a really positive response so far. So I've got some really, really cool and amazing people joining me on the pod to talk about all the amazing things that they do. And also, a part of each episode, I'll give just a shout out to something that's going on. So whether, again, like I said, that's a special event that someone's happening, that someone's doing, whether that is like a charity thing, whether that's an opening of something, I'll always give it a shout out each episode of the pod. So if you hear of anything, or if you've got anything going on in your business, just get in touch and we can give you a shout out on the pod and let people know what is happening. So really just trying to bring the community together, trying to do something with the community, sort of bring to life a little bit about what we've got going on, and finding out a little bit more about the stuff that we've got going on right on our doorstep, which is absolutely loads. So that's the purpose and that's the aim. Thank you so much for everyone that is following so far. I really appreciate the support. Please share like mad. Let's try and get the word out to as many people in this area as we can, because hopefully they're going to find it really interesting and helpful, and hopefully a bit of fun along the way as well. So thank you so much for jumping on and listening to what I've got coming up. Really appreciate the support, and I will see you really soon with our first podcast. Thanks, guys.